What does that mean to you, Black History Month?
It means that that's racism because they don't celebrate White History Month. We don't have it. I'm part Italian. I don't have Italian History Month. So what I think it's doing is perpetuating what this divide is in our nation, quite honestly, because I don't feel like that should be highlighted. I don't think that they should be pushing their agenda on myself because I'm a straight male, I have a wife, and I have children. I don't think that I should have to be bombarded and brainwashed through media, through those months or Pride, Black History. I don't think that's something that should be, dictated to me.
Is it a learning opportunity?
Not at all, because when I was in school, we learned, certain Black leaders, things like that. I don't need to hear it every single year for a whole
all the
month.
racists out there, your ignorance and hatred are a poison to humanity. Your shallow mind clings to false superiority, but know this, your bigotry is a mark of weakness, not strength. Humanity's true power lies in unity and diversity. While you cling to outdated prejudices, the world moves forward without you. Open your eyes, confront your ignorance, and evolve, or be left behind in the dust of history. You're on the wrong side of progress, and your hatred will never prevail.
They are shooting people from federal buildings in LA. They are standing at the top. If you watch Hassan's stream, they are shooting people from federal buildings.
I keep seeing so many videos of Black students graduating on my For You page and then celebrating after, and I love it. But I open the comments and everyone in there is being so weird, saying all sorts of really deeply disgusting things, and I will never understand why Black joy threatens y'all so much, why you are so afraid and hateful towards it. Seeing people out here being like, they're not taking it seriously. Well, clearly they graduated, so they were taking stuff seriously. Allow them to be a little excited about their achievements, okay? I don't think that's that crazy. And also people being like, oh my gosh, this is why they don't achieve anything else. Black women are among the most educated in our country right now, okay? And the hardest working if you look at data. So I don't really think it's y'all's place to come out here and insult them for being excited about achieving things that a lot of other people in this country can't right now. They're not harming anyone. They're not even really disrupting anything because everyone else in the video is smiling and laughing too. But you guys are so determined to see Black joy and Black expression as some sort of dangerous activity that you can villainize, that you have taken that version in your mind and put it on to these literal kids, these literal young adults who are celebrating and expressing their excitement towards the next phase in their life.
Listen to me. If you are a God-fearing person, a God-fearing soul, you need to have nothing to do with Donald Trump and his MAGA movement. We are literally seeing right in front of our eyes the rise of biblical Babylon. And what people are doing in this administration, anyone with integrity, they are jumping ship. They're leaving. They're actually doing what the scripture says in Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, unless you share in her plagues. They're doing this. And if you're not doing this, if you are affiliated with him in any way, if you are supporting him in any way, even if you're not speaking out against what's happening, you are compromised. Get out now. It's not worth it to gain the whole world and to lose your own.
More Black people get abortion.
Yes. So I looked
Okay,
it up.
why is that, white lady? White lady, why do more Black people get abortion? Because abortions are based on what? Lack of access to resources. Nope, because abortions disproportionately happen to impoverished people. Why are Black people more impoverished than white people? Because of white supremacy. So thank you for pointing out that people that have been forced into poverty through systemic racism of the last 200 years are forced to abort their baby more because of the lack of resources to be able to raise a baby. And then you, as a white lady, use that as your talking point to take the health care away from those same women that are suffering in those same impoverished neighborhoods because you don't want to acknowledge the white supremacy behind it all. Go ahead.
White people have always been at war with nature, and history proves it. For thousands of years, civilizations across the world have lived in harmony with their environments. building societies that worked with the land rather than against it. But white European societies took a different approach. They declared war on nature itself. From deforestation to factory farming, from climate disasters to outright destruction of entire ecosystems, white societies have never treated the natural world as something to be preserved or respected, only as something to be conquered, extracted, and controlled. White people saw nature as an obstacle, not a home. Early European settlements were built on environmental destruction, while indigenous societies in Africa, Asia, and the Americas built homes, farms, and cities in ways that worked with their environments. White Europeans raised forests, overhunted, and exhausted lands at unsustainable rates. White settlers in North America and Australia saw nature as something hostile that needed to be tamed, a mentality that led to rapid deforestation, soil depletion, and near extinction of countless species. Unlike African, Asian, and indigenous cultural techniques, which prioritized soil health, water preservation, and biodiversity, white European farming was built around short-term exploitation, leading to repeated environmental collapses. The climate was white people's first enemy. European history is filled with climate-related crises, from the Little Ice Age to mass famines. But instead of adapting, Europeans treated nature as something to be fought against. In contrast, many African and Asian civilizations built entire agricultural and irrigation systems to withstand droughts and floods, while white European societies barely survived their own winters. The entire colonization of the Americas was justified through environmental destruction. The land was only seen as valuable if it could be stripped down, fenced off, and turned into profit. White people did not master nature. They fought it, and in the process made their own environments worse. The Industrial Revolution was just organized environmental warfare. Europeans burned through forests, poisoned rivers, and polluted air at paces that no civilization had ever come close to before. Unlike African and Asian metallurgical techniques, which often integrated sustainable resource management, white Europeans tore through resources without a second thought, leading to mass deforestation and ecological collapse. White-run factories pumped so much pollution into the air that by the 19th century, entire cities were unlivable. European capitalism saw nature as something to be bought, sold, and destroyed for profit, a total inversion of the way many non-European societies treated the land. The demand for industrialized agriculture led to monocropping, soil erosion, and mass extinction of entire plant and animal species. Instead of recognizing environmental limits, white industrialists kept expanding, leading directly to today's climate crisis. White civilization did not progress, it just burned through resources faster than anyone else. White people broke the planet, then pretended to save it. The same white societies that led deforestation, pollution, and species extinction now act like they're the ones saving the planet. Western conservation efforts often ignore indigenous knowledge, favoring white-led environmental movements that focus more on guilt than real solutions. Instead of restoring the ecosystems that they've destroyed, white environmentalists push for solutions that maintain control, like carbon taxes that don't stop destruction. They just price it differently. Indigenous land management techniques like controlled burns, rotational grazing, and agroforestry were ignored by white scientists for centuries, despite their success. Traditional African and Asian water conservation methods kept entire civilizations thriving through harsh climates, while European-style industrial farming drained aquifers and poisoned rivers. White conservationism often prioritizes saving landscapes for aesthetics, rather than for the survival of ecosystems or people. White environmentalism isn't about saving the earth. It's about managing the damage that they've already caused. If white people were so advanced, why have they spent their entire history trying to survive against the planet, instead of living with it? Cope.
In a frightening new chapter in American history, Donald Trump is using ICE like the Gestapo. One of my focuses on my platform is to help you understand where money flows in and out of politics, especially with corporations. That's why I've created this video to help you understand which big companies are supporting the operations of ICE with materials and services. This will be a two-part series. The first one I'm going to focus on large corporations that you likely know. The second one will focus on other corporations that you may not know about, but may be in your own backyard. So let's take a look at some of the largest companies getting big contracts to support the operations of ICE. One company that gets lots of big contracts and is helping in a variety of ways is Deloitte. For instance, Deloitte was given a $62 million contract to assist with law enforcement systems. They were also given a $15 million contract to provide communication and support services for ICE. The company Dell is also providing both hardware and support services to ICE. AT&T was given a $32 million contract by ICE to help with IT infrastructure for the organization. Microsoft also has multiple contracts with ICE, including a $602,000 award to help upgrade their software. Motorola Solutions also received a large contract from ICE to help with hardware for communications as well as other IT support services. And Thomson Reuters was given over $22 million to help with ICE's law enforcement database. My platform is always based on peaceful protest, but I do encourage you to reach out to these companies and share your disgust. And of course, make sure that you do not shop or support these businesses if you can.
I don't care if somebody has their papers or not. I don't care if they're hardworking or not. I don't care if they immigrated here legally or not. You will never be able to convince me that a piece of paper is more valuable than a person's life. You'll never be able to convince me that a piece of paper is justification for throwing somebody in a cage, denying them food and water, tearing them apart from their family, and then deporting them. That's sick. Oh, well, the criminals, the legal way, the this and that. The legal way? You know what's happening when people are showing up to their court hearings, the mandated court hearings, when they do it the legal way? They're getting detained and deported, okay? And you want to talk about criminals? Look who's in the White House. Okay, let's talk about that. And oh, well, the benefits, and they take all of this, and they do all of that. Undocumented people can't get benefits. You know who gets the most benefits in this country? The people running it. Okay? Every single time that a working class person gets mad at another immigrant, a billionaire throws a celebration on their yacht. Okay? Minute that you start caring more about what a piece of paper says than somebody's life is the minute that I stop caring about what you have to think. If you think what's going on is okay right now, I hope the violence and pain that you're inflicting on hundreds of thousands of people is returned to you 100-fold. No one is illegal on stolen land.
I want to go viral today, and only for one reason: to get justice for Meshea Moses. She was a 34-year-old queer black woman who was only 4'11", killed on May 3rd by Leon Blair Perkins III, who's a 65-year-old white man, well over 6 feet tall. And yet, the Tulsa Police Department refused to arrest him. Leon's story has been very inconsistent. Oklahoma law says that you cannot instigate a situation and then claim self-defense. And now it gets worse. The police are letting Leon sell his car, the same car that he drove the day that he unalived Meshea. But Meshea's family can't even get her wallet or her belongings back because they say they need it in evidence. So let me get this straight. You can release a car used in a homicide, but you can't release the victim's wallet? Where the does this make sense? Please sign the petition that's in my bio. We are demanding that the DA's office arrest Leon Blair Perkins III because it was not self-defense and this was murder. I've also linked the GoFundMe in my bio because the family needs help with legal fees so they can hire a lawyer to get this rolling. This could be your family member. This could be you. Wouldn't you want the community to help get justice for your loved ones, or you if it was you? It takes less than 2 minutes to sign the petition, so please just sign the petition.
Every National Guard member with a spine and a soul, if you're being ordered to deploy into California under any directive tied to a self-declared national emergency by a convicted felon, an insurrectionist, an illegitimately restored executive, read your damn UCMJ. You swore an oath, not to a man, not to a party, and certainly not to a fascist cult masquerading as governance. You swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Let me remind you, an order is only lawful if it aligns with the Constitution, federal law, and the lawful chain of command. A president under criminal conviction who clawed back power through systemic manipulation and incitement of sedition represents, by definition, a constitutional crisis, not a lawful administration. Deploying troops without consent of the state, especially under a hostile executive agenda, is not national defense. It's turn your weapons, your presence, or your silence against American citizens in any capacity that violates constitutional boundaries. That is an unlawful order. Under Article 92 of the UCMJ, your legal and moral duty is to refuse it, not to hesitate, not to defer, not to wait and see, to refuse. Period. Let me make this brutally clear. If you follow illegal commands issued by an authoritarian regime, especially one that came to power through insurrection, election denial, and violent coercion, you become part of the very domestic enemies your oath warned you about. You will not be able to hide behind, "I was just following orders." That excuse has never aged well. This isn't about politics. This is about the Constitution, state sovereignty, the rule of law. This is about the attempted militarization of dissent, the weaponization of federal power to crush civilian autonomy. This is the moment the line is drawn. If your command accepts these orders, they are collaborating with seditionists. If you obey them blindly, you are no longer defending your country. You are occupying it. To all who still have honor in uniform, stand the fuck down. Refuse unlawful activation. Demand congressional intervention. Uphold your oath. Before your complicity writes your legacy, history is watching. And this time there will be no excuse.
I'm not MAGA. I'm a veteran. I wore the uniform and I swore an oath. And I need every American to hear me right now. What Trump is doing in Los Angeles is injustice. It's not safety. It's state-sponsored violence. Peaceful protesters took to the streets to demand dignity for immigrant families. They were nonviolent. And what do they get? ICE in full tactical gear, shields, batons, chemical agents masked up and name tags covered, all to intimidate and silence people exercising their First Amendment rights. This wasn't their first time either. ICE has a record of escalating peaceful protests. Portland, New York City, and now LA. Same playbook: intimidate, escalate, silence. And don't tell me this is about security. ICE wasn't created to protect us. ICE was created in 2003 after 9/11, and not to stop terrorism, but to police immigration. And since then, dozens of reports of abuse, sexual assault cases in detention centers, families torn apart, and kids lost in the system. And it gets worse. This isn't just about immigrants. It's about state sovereignty. Trump has federalized the National Guard without the governor's consent. He has active duty Marines deployed on U.S. soil against protesters without permission from the state. That's not just government overreach. That's a violation of the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, the very law that forbids the federal government from using the military as a domestic police force. You can't wave the Constitution in one hand while tearing up the 10th Amendment and shredding Posse Comitatus with the other. This is not national defense. This is political violence aimed at a vulnerable people. And for those of us who've served, it's a betrayal of everything we've stood for. I fought next to immigrants. I've bled next to immigrants. Don't you dare use my service as a cover for this brutality. I didn't serve to be turned into someone's private army. And I didn't risk my life for some coward politician to use soldiers to silence the same people that we swore to protect. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, not to protect agencies running black sites on U.S. soil, not to cover for masked agents pushing up peaceful Americans to the ground. If you've ever worn the uniform, you should be outraged. If you've ever called yourself a patriot, you should be on our side. I didn't fight for some alphabet soup. I didn't fight for demagogue. I fought for them, the protesters on the street, the immigrant worker, the refugee family, the people who built this fucking country. Trump isn't protecting America. Trump is an embarrassment to America. And I'll say this as plainly as possible. I don't care if you vote red or blue. If you served and you support the military use against American people, you are a disgrace to the uniform you once donned. And for the true patriots that see this threat in its true form, we need your voice, especially from those who've served.
This is about one thing, okay? It's about white supremacy. This country elected a Klan leader in the White House, a white supremacist. He said, you know what? I got you. Take off your white hoods. Put on your red hat so people can see your face and know what you really stand for. I'm going to tell you that it's okay to be a racist. So just to recap in this country, if you're white and you commit felonies and tax fraud, if you're so pathetically inept that you can't even keep your own marriage vows, if you steal from cancer charities, if you cause an insurrection which leads to the permanent disabilities and the loss of life of police officers on January 6th, if you steal top secret documents, if you do all that, you get to be president because you're white. Hey, no one's perfect, Paul. Hey, really? Vote for a Democrat then. Not the evil libs. No. If you storm the Capitol and you're white, and you beat officers, and you're found guilty in a court of law through due process, you get pardoned by the Klan leader. Yes. Great America, right? Ahmaud Arbery, chased down by 3 U.S. citizens, white U.S. citizens. Oh, all because he's jogging. Hey, Paul, we're not racist. The hell we're not. The fuck we're not. Oh, the summer of love, Paul, because you need to be the white victim, don't you? Somehow you need to be the victim of everything. Do you know why that started, those protests? Because a white cop, a U.S. citizen, put his knee on a black man's neck. Very symbolic of America. While 3 U.S. citizen cops stood by and watched it happen. But you don't give a fuck about that, right? You want to talk about, the protest, because you don't want to deal with what this country actually is. It's racist as fuck. It was designed by racist plantation slave owners that owned human beings. It was designed in 1787 for 21-year-old white men. It said black people were 3/5 of a person. Couldn't drink from the same water fountain, couldn't sit on the bus, couldn't worship in the same church. Asians were in internment camps. Women were second-class citizens. They couldn't vote. They couldn't have no-fault divorce until the 1980s. Black people couldn't even vote until, the 60s? Every goddamn demographic in this country that doesn't look like me has had to fight just to be equal. So spare me your horse shit about, we're not racist. The fuck we're not. We've always been racist, and we refuse to deal with it for some damn reason. But if you're brown, and you've been here for 40 years and your green card expires, or your documentation's not complete, never committed a crime, never done a felony, never cheated on your wife, never led an insurrection, no tax fraud, no 34 felonies. If you're brown, we're going to grab you out of a church, out of your home, out of your place of business. We're going to zip tie your kids while you're crying. That's okay because you're not fucking white, right? That's what this is all about. It's about white supremacy. And the president of the United States, the Klan leader, said, take off your white hood. It's okay, Billy Bob, living in your trailer. Put on a red hat. Don't be ashamed of being a Klan owner, a Klan member. Don't be ashamed of being a racist, Billy Bob, Bobby. Don't be afraid. Be who you know you are. Because they don't want to let the white patriarchy go. And we're here in this moment because enough people that look like me haven't said this. I can't be responsible for what people did before me, but I'll be goddamned if I'm not going to say what needs to be said every goddamn day. It doesn't matter if the Democrats or Republicans are in the White House. Until we deal with this shit as a country, our original sin, we will never, ever, ever break free of white supremacy. Have you looked at the Klan leader's cabinet? One black man, urban housing in his first term. Second term, one black man, urban housing. Wow, if that's not a racist dog whistle, what a ret to black people. Has dinner at his home with Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist. Question the birth of Barack Obama. Let's not even talk about the Central Park Five, but Paul, he's not racist. The fuck he isn't. But that's what you're attracted to, right? You just couldn't vote for the goddamn black woman. I didn't like her cackle. She was too happy. The reality is, his MAGA base was uncomfortable that a black man was sitting in the White House instead of picking their goddamn cotton. So they went back to what they know, the plantation owner, to make America white again. Wake up, America. This is the only way we're going to change this country. It has to be my goddamn demographic because we're the ones that created it. And I'll leave you with this. This is why my demographic, even though I didn't do it personally, needs to do it. Let's say I build a house. Okay? Let's say a black family moves in. Beautiful house. Over the course of time, it starts to get cracks in the ceiling and the floors, and the ceiling starts to crack, and the house is sinking. Is it up to the homeowner that just bought that house to fix it? No. It's up to me because I built the foundation of said house. Why should the homeowner have to fix up the mess? It's not black people's mess. It's my demographic. We need to tear out the foundation of this house, of this country, because it was founded on racism, and rebuild it to make it equal for everybody. And if you can't see that by now, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you're part of the problem. Maybe you should just go put your white hood back on. Like the ICE agents, who are too much of goddamn cowards. We must address white supremacy in this country. Hard stop. Have a good day.
You ever notice how quick they are to divide us? Left, right, citizen, immigrant, black, white, brown, yellow, purple, doesn't matter. Anything to keep us arguing while they rob us blind. And it's working. You scroll for 30 seconds and everyone's pissed off at each other. Meanwhile, the people that are actually screwing us over, they're cashing checks and dodging taxes and passing laws that make our lives harder by the week. The truth is, they're not scared of riots. They're scared of us waking up to the fact that it ain't us versus each other. It's all of us versus the ones at the top. They know once the working class stops fighting left versus right and starts fighting bottom versus top, it's fucking over for them.
What we are seeing right now is not strength. It's desperation. The heavy hand of the current administration isn't a sign of power. It's a sign of fear because they know the truth. Their grip is slipping. What we are witnessing today is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump and his corrupt administration. To all of the LA protesters, thank you, thank you. Authoritarianism thrives on fear, on silence, on making you believe that there's nothing you can do, that the system is too far gone. But despair is a lie. It is a tool used to keep us from remembering the one thing they can never control: our unity, our numbers, and our love for one another. The most immediate and visible form of resistance is peaceful, sustained protest. Mass turnout shows that the people are awake and watching. It disrupts the narrative that authoritarian actions are broadly supported. But it must remain peaceful. It must remain peaceful because the opposition thrives on chaos and fear. Don't give them that weapon. What's happening is unsustainable, my friends. It will not last because the foundation that it's built on, corruption, cruelty, control, is already beginning to crumble. This is not the end. It's the beginning. A new wave is rising. People are organizing. Communities are caring for each other. Movements are building across every city, every street. And when the people finally rise together, not in fear, but in purpose, no amount of power, propaganda, or insane policy can stop us. So do not give in to hopelessness. Stand up, speak out, support one another, and believe, truly believe, that a better world is possible. Because it is. And it begins with you and I.
Hey there, folks. So, you know what's awesome about being a blue-collar worker? Is maggots, hillbilly ISIS, seem to think that I'm one of them. And they'll open up to me like I'm one of their fucking therapists. It's really hilarious, really. The stupidity that comes out of their mouths. Well, you know, he did say that he likes the uneducated. Like always, Fuck you, hillbilly ISIS.
Are you kidding me? Okay, we're gonna get you a nice spit bath.
You hit me in the face with a flashlight. How are you gonna explain that, Bruce? You think it's okay because you have a badge? Criminals in the face with a flashlight? You little dick, man. You excuse for a man. You're a little butt. You're a little. You're a little.
They killed a Democratic lawmaker and her husband. They killed a Democratic lawmaker and her husband. They pretended to be a police officer, and they went up to their home and they shot them in their home. And the other two, they're still in the hospital. It's disgusting. And there are some of you who just scream that this is okay, that this is what I voted for, this is what I wanted. Okay, well, there's a new can of worms open now. For the first time that I've been alive as an adult, I have witnessed political rhetoric result in the death, a shooting death of a politician and their family. Is this enough yet? Are you over it yet? Are the tariffs and the higher prices and all the bullshit that we are going through right now, was it worth it? You owned the libs. Good job.
We collectively had enough yet? Because I've sure had a fucking enough. I am so fucking sick of this shit. For 10 fucking years, we've been subjected to Donald Trump and all these dipshits he's put into place. I am so fucking sick of MAGA. You fucking Nazi liars. You racist, bigoted, uneducated pieces of fucking dog shit. Fuck unity with anyone who still supports Trump and supports what he's been doing and is doing to this day. If that is you, fucking miss me. Do not fucking talk to me. Do not even come fucking near me, because I am so fucking done. All of this shit. Now they're trying to call the protests against ICE an insurrection. Yeah, after they fucking pardoned all the actual fucking insurrectionist traitors. I am so fucking done with this shit. If you are still a Trump supporter, I hope you get run over by a fucking tank during Trump's military birthday parade. I hope you get ran the fuck over by a tank. I hate all of you. I fucking hate you. I hate what you've done to this country. I hate what you have allowed this country to become. You fucking piece of shit traitors. Fuck you. I hope you all fucking...
Isn't it funny how Jesus preached to love the foreigner, but the Christian conservative crowd voted for a man that's devastating immigrant families? And isn't it funny how Christianity claims that the love of money is the root of all evil, but the Christian conservative MAGA crowd voted for a notoriously greedy billionaire? And isn't it funny how the same crowd scapegoats abuse onto the LGBTQ community while failing to take accountability for the egregious amounts of actual abuse that takes place in its own congregation? And isn't it funny how conservative leaders dictate Christian rhetoric to ensure this agenda? And isn't it funny how Jesus drove money changers out of the temple with a whip, but now churches have merchandise and push tithes more than truth? And isn't it funny how they justify all this by worshiping a God of love, but that same God of love sent a bear to kill 42 kids for teasing a prophet? And isn't it funny when these Christian conservatives demonstrate their Christian love by sending me threats for making content like this? So much so that when I repost it, the post gets taken down because of hate speech? Because that is pretty funny.
My name is Mike Hastings, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. The president's decision to deploy my brothers and sisters against U.S. citizens is a shameful abdication of the president's responsibility as commander-in-chief. They were not needed, not wanted by the governor or local authorities, so the only explanation is this is a pure political ploy to please the president's supporters at best, or a tyrannical exercise of power to stoke the president's ego at worst. Make no mistake, Marines are not pawns. They're not meant to be deployed for political games. The president's actions are nothing but a pure disrespect to their lifelong pledge of honor, courage, and commitment.